If you're an entrepreneur, creative, or visionary struggling with procrastination, burnout, or staying consistent, this video is for you. Today, we're talking about why you don't actually have a motivation problem and what's really happening beneath the surface when you stall, overthink, or lose momentum. Here at Harmony of Shadows, we go deeper than productivity hacks. We explore emotional patterns, nervous system protection, shadow work, and alignment so that you can build and create without fighting yourself. Let's get into it. This might irritate you a little. You do not have a motivation problem. You don't need another planner. You do not need a stricter routine. You don't need to want it more. If you're a creative, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're someone who knows you're called to do more, the issue isn't that you don't want it. So, what is it? Because something keeps stopping you, and it's not what you think. Here's what people usually say: I just need to be more disciplined, or I'm procrastinating again. I'm distracted. I start strong, then I fall off. I just can't stay consistent. Or my favorite, I don't feel motivated. And so we download productivity apps, we buy courses, we tell ourselves Monday will be different. But let me ask you something. Have you ever been deeply motivated and still not done the thing? Exactly. Because this isn't about motivation. What you are calling lack of motivation is usually one of these: fear of being seen, fear of being judged, fear of outgrowing people, fear of failing publicly, fear of succeeding and having to sustain it, or something deeper, an emotional pattern that formed long before your business did. A pattern that says, if I shine too bright, I'll be unsafe. If I succeed, I'll be alone. If I try and fail, it confirms what I've secretly believe about myself. So your nervous system does something very intelligent. It stalls. It reorganizes your desk. It suddenly gets very interested in cleaning the kitchen. Not because you're lazy, but because your system is protecting you. Most of my clients are creatives and entrepreneurs. They're visionary minds, deep feelers. They have big, big ideas. And here's what I see over and over: they don't struggle with issues, they struggle with exposure. They don't struggle with talent, they struggle with being witnessed. Because once you post that video, launch that offer, raise your price, you're visible. And visibility activates old wounds. The kid who wasn't chosen, the teenager who was misunderstood, the adult who was criticized for dreaming too big. So your brain says, let's not. And you label it low motivation, but it's protection. Sometimes it's not even fear, sometimes it's grief. Grief for the years you didn't feel supported, grief for the version of you who doubted herself or himself, great, great grief for relationships that may shift when you rise. Sometimes it's resentment, resentment that it feels harder for you, resentment that you're carrying more than people realize, and unprocessed emotion drains energy. You don't need more motivation. You need integration. You need safety. You need to understand the pattern beneath the stall. Because until you do, guys, you'll keep trying to fix your habits instead of tending to your heart. Now, here's the part where most videos would give you a 5 step system. Wake up at 5 a.m., cold shower, affirmations, batch your content, and those things do have their place. But if we skip the emotional layer, you will execute for a week and collapse again. Because this is not about doing more, it is about understanding what part of you is afraid and why. If you can relate to what I've described, if you're tired of calling it lack of motivation when you know that there's something deeper, that's exactly why I created Sacred Alignment. It's not about productivity hacks, it's about understanding your emotional patterns, your nervous system, your nervous system responses, your shadow, your brilliance, so you can move forward from wholeness, not from force. If you're ready to stop fighting yourself and start aligning with yourself, join Sacred Alignment. The link is below because you don't have a motivation problem. You have a pattern ready to be healed. And that changes everything.